Hi, welcome to Miranda Made. Today I wanted to show you this simplicity pattern from the 1970s, and we're going to make for newborn, or also size 0 to 3 months, this kimono top with the sacque, or in other words, a tie front blouse with bloomers. It's super cute. I make two different versions, one that follows the pattern completely and one that has snaps in the front, so the blouse will completely close. All right, let's get started.
Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
In step 1, I cut out all of the pattern pieces as indicated, and then I took a look at the instructions to see what we needed to start with, and this was a very simple pattern to follow. All right, so I pinned the right side with right sides together. I pinned at the shoulders, and that's the first area I'm going to stitch together. Using 5/8 inch of a seam allowance, I'm just going to stitch right across those shoulders. You can sew over pins, I have been told, but I still don't feel comfortable doing that. So I go very slowly and I make sure that it's completely lined up well. And I remove each pin as I come up to it. All right, so the first shoulder is finished, and now I'm just going to do the other side exactly the same way. All right. After finishing that, I pressed open the seams so that I could go ahead and finish them by folding them, by pressing them open and then folding them in and pressing them together. So you're going to see very clearly how to do this. I went ahead and pressed them just like this. So now they're going to close together with those raw edges in the middle. And I just pinned it across so that it's going to be really easy to stitch. Okay, after I have stitched it, this is what it looks like. It's very neat and clean. Now I'm just going to go ahead and hem the sleeves while they're fully open and pin that. And I went ahead and pin around so that I can sew along the sides and under the arms. And here it is sewn together under the arms. All right, so now I clipped the curve in the middle and then I pressed open the seams, and I'm going to do them just like I did the shoulder seams with the clipping in the middle exposed. So this is what it looks like when it's all pinned together and stitched together. This is what the end result is. Now I'm going to go ahead and stitch along the hem to finish that. And here we have what it looks like. All right, now I'm ready to add some bias tape or trim. I have this ribbon, so I just went ahead and used it, and I put it all the way across the top, just like this, stitching it along so it can tie easily. This is very convenient for when you need to change the baby's clothes, and it's not hard to do at all. So this is the original version and what the instructions tell you to do and how to finish it. Isn't it cute? But I also wanted to do a second version in a different pattern. So this is what I did. I added some snaps. So there's a tie at the top and it will completely close the shirt. Whereas the original version, the top does not completely close. So it was very easy. I made the exact same pattern except I added snaps and I made it fully close. And I used some bias tape here instead of the ribbon. Okay, let's move on to the sacque or the bloomers. So this is the first one that I made, and I made it completely like the pattern. It's really cute. It has elastic around the leggings, elastic at the top, and then I put 4 large snaps for ease of closure. It's fully lined, so if you have any drippings, it's okay. You can wash it and it should collect a lot of that. This is the back of it, and then the front of the blouse. The back of the bloomers and the front of the blouse. Very cute. Okay, let's take a look at the instructions so you can kind of see every step in making the bloomers. So here you can add along the edging. They show you here, or the trim at the back, lining and casing. So putting the elastic in, which is definitely the most challenging part. Creating the casing at the top. And then going ahead and finishing it off with elastic at the top. Okay, so again, go ahead and cut out the pattern completely. I did this one in the alternate pattern so you could see. Now you want to add some twill tape here, and I just marked from the pattern the dots for the location of the twill tape with my water-soluble pen. And this just adds sturdiness to this garment. And then I basted it in. Now I'm ready to look at, this is the pattern for adding trim at the back. You can draw it onto your fabric. I just measured, and then I prepared this ribbon here. It's basically like a bias tape that I made. So this one is a little different than the original pattern design. Okay, so I'm just going to stitch all the way at top, and then I'm going to create a basting stitch to gather it. So here's that in printed form, just in case. All right, and this is what it looks like after I prepared the bias tape and I pinned it on before stitching it down. Really cute, I think. I love the chicken print. All right, and this is, of course, what the original pattern shows, but it's a finished product, so it's going to shrink down. All right, so now it's time to put those, the lining and the outside together. So right sides together, you've got to pin it so that you can stitch all the way around. You will leave the top opening of the panties. You don't stitch that because that's going to allow you to reverse it and flip it to the right side. So make sure you do not stitch around that top opening part. So just so you can really see, I'm going to show you with my finger going all the way around where you actually stitch. And that top part, do not stitch. All right, so here it is, all sewn together. It's starting to look good. Now I went ahead and clipped the notches so that those curves are going to lay flat. And reversing it, here it is. Oh, so beautiful. All right, onto the elastic casing. I've got to stitch a line here, leaving space to pull that elastic through. This is the tough part. Okay, so here are my 2 pieces of elastic, and here's my safety pin. I'm going to use the safety pin to work it all the way through the casing. At the top end, I'm going to stitch across to hold the elastic down. And then I'm going to pull it tight and stitch it at the bottom, making the ruched appearance. It's a little tricky the first time, but after you repeat it a couple times, it gets easier. The safety pin is your best friend. You can just hook it on. This is what it looks like when it's finished. All right, now we're ready to fold in the raw edges and press them. We're going to make a casing for one more piece of elastic. So just fold them in and press them down. Okay, now we're going to stitch all the way down, not the outside, but we're going to form that casing. So stitch down, and then you can see here I have that stitched edge. Now I'm going to tuck in the piece of elastic in the corner and stitch the elastic right in that corner to keep it from moving. Next, now it's attached, I'm going to stretch it down to the other end and stitch it in that corner. And then, after I get it stitched in the corner here, it can be a little tricky. You gotta hold it in place. Now you can stitch across the top and completing the closing of the casing. Here it is finished, all nice and ruched together. It looks really cute. And here's the back of it. Here's the inside. Here's the front. This is where we're going to be putting the snaps next. And you can kind of decide, where do you want the snaps to go? How tightly fitted do you want it to be? And you can, of course, adjust it to the baby's size, making it smaller when they're smaller and expanding it for when they're larger. The snaps are pretty easy. They take some time, but they're very easy to put on. All right. Isn't this cute? I used 16mm snaps that I got at the dollar store, and I just lined them up on the fabric where I would put them, and then I hand stitched them in place. And this is what it looks like when I've got them all lined up and stitched on. They easily snap closed, which will make it very convenient when changing the baby's diaper. Okay, we've reached the end. These are the 2 completed baby outfits. Chickens with red checkered fabric with modification, snap modifications, and then the original design followed completely by the pattern. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and leave a comment. See you in the next video.